All right. So today we will start with exception handling, right? So see, what's the exception? If we'll see, the definition of the exception will be abnormal termination, right? What does it mean by abnormal termination? That if it in the real life, if I'm just walking, if I want to move from A to B and something happens to me in my leg, then I stop walking or I quit the race, then that would be an abnormal termination, right? It was not expected. I'm audible?
Yeah, Akshay.
So whenever the race is organized, people need to take this into consideration, right? That the athletes can injure themselves during the race, right? So every race organizer maintains a team so that if something happens to the athlete, then the doctor should be there. They will take care of the doctor. Then they have the mechanisms to take the athlete from its place and move it to the doctor's cabin chamber anywhere, right? So that's the handling of exception, right? What's the best case scenario? That all the athletes is able to complete the race. That would be the best case scenario. The normal termination of the race, right? Abnormal termination would be a single or more, or maybe every athlete gets injured due to an incident. So that's, but the thing is, we need to handle those exceptions as well, right? If something happens, then the race should conclude properly. So that's why we have alternatives approaches there. If a player gets injured, then we'll do this. If everyone gets injured, we will do this. 10 players, so 5 minutes is provided to each athlete. Then at least 2 doctors needs to be there. Physiotherapist needs to be there. So surgeons is not required, but some other people needs to be there apart from the physiotherapist. So that would mean this thing. And what would be the normal termination in Java or in any computer programming language? It would be if the business logic in Java can be written in only one class element, right? That is method, right? So whenever my method is executing and my method is of line 20, and after executing of line 10 or 15, if my code suddenly stops due to any reason, then it would be an exception, right? Because it would be an abnormal termination. And now the thing is, abnormal termination, whenever it's happening, it can change the state of the program. Okay, let's go through this first, the theoretical part. So exception, okay, this thing we have already seen, that this meaning is abnormal termination, right? An exception is an event that occurs during the execution of a program that disturbs the flow of the program instruction, right? Program instruction is normally just line should be right. If the application contains exception, then the program terminated abnormally, abnormally, then the rest of the code is not executed. The thing that I was saying, that if I have 20 lines of code, and after 10 lines of the code, if exception occurs or arises, then the next 10 lines will not be executed. This thing we have already seen in the garbage collection, where in the finalize method we are executing, where we were trying to throw, we were not trying, we were throwing the arithmetic exception, and then the next lines was not executed. So see, now the thing is, we know that there might be a case where our entire code will not get executed, right? So what can we do during that phases? We can, I mean, there needs to be uh, some mechanisms provided by the language to handle those scenarios where code stops or terminates abnormally, right? So in Java, there are two keywords that has been provided. One is try catch, most important, most basic. In everyday life we are going to use this. Throws, again in everyday life, I mean everyday developer life, we are going to work with this throws. Eventually, if you are aware or not aware, but you will be working internally, the code will be using this throws. So what's the objective of exception handling? Obviously abnormal termination is happening, right? We need to make sure, even if abnormal termination occurs, then too we need to make sure that okay, every every case, every business logic that we are writing should be properly executed even if there exists an exception. So that's our aim for the exception handling. If some player gets injured anyway, I mean for any reason, then we need to make sure that the race executed successfully. Instead of 10 players, the 9 players should be there. One, we need to make sure that okay, one is the last one, the last player would be at the last, I mean the player that got injured will be disqualified or will be the 10th at the 10th position if there are 10 players. Then we depends, I mean we have to handle those things. That would be considered as the exception handling. Alright, so the main objective of the exception handling is to get normal termination of the application. Alright, and exception handling means that we are providing in, this is the most important thing, alternative code. Alright, alternative code we are providing to continue the execution of the remaining code and get the normal termination. We will see what does it mean, right? This is the important item only. And there are many exceptions already, we know. The ArithmeticException we have already seen, and the rest we will see. Alright, now the thing is, what are the, I mean how many types of exception are there and why they arise, right? So developer mistake can be there, right? We can try, I mean there is an exception called NullPointerException, most common in Java, right? So options are introduced in 2013 with Java 8 just to make sure we don't have to deal with the null pointers. So if someone asks you a question, okay, what are the drawbacks of Java, or what are the things that you don't like about Java, then one thing you can answer is null pointers, right? But in 2008, sorry, not 2008, 2013 with Java 8 they have provided optionals to take care of it. So but still there might be some cases where developer don't take into consideration or don't add the null check, so the null pointer exception can arise, right? The index out of bound can arise. There might be a chance that we are trying to load a file but the file does not exist, then also there can be a error, right? So that would be the developer mistake. Then there are some use case where the end user mistake can also happen. Like for example, if I am saying if there are no proper validation checks in the front end and not even on the back end, so if I want someone to enter a digit, right, or an integer, and they are sending me the string, and that too with special characters, then I won't be able to deserialize the special characters into the Java integer, right? So these are the things also that can happen when there is issue with the user input that the user is providing us. Alright, and now this thing, I mean everything we are going to, I mean we are just going one by one, but we are going to dive deep into all of these things, right? So try and catch, I think it's going to take one day, throw versus throws, and everything will take few days, right? It's not, it's written in one page, but it will take many days, right, to cover. So now how many types of exceptions are there, right? So checked, unchecked, and error, right? Checked exceptions we have seen many times till now, right? Whenever we get the compile time error, they are checked exceptions, right? So the another name for the checked exceptions are compile time exceptions, right? Now there are unchecked exceptions, right, which compiler does not have the ability to check. So that would be unchecked exceptions, and we have already seen the example of unchecked exception in the last session, and that would be ArithmeticException, right? Because during the compilation no processing of the code happens. So that's why if we try to divide anything by 0, we will be aware that there is an exception during the runtime only. So that would be unchecked exceptions, and it's also called the runtime exception, right? And there is an error. Error is something else, right? Error does not happen, I mean error usually happens by the limitations of our hardware and not by some input and all. Okay, I mean it may depend on input, but it depends on the hardware. So if exceptions are arise, right, we can handle it in a try catch block and we can try to make the flow properly. But if error arise, now there is a limitation, right? Because I won't be able to enhance my hardware by writing some code, right? I need to check with my cloud service provider, and then we will be able to upgrade our server. Alright, so let's dive deep into each one of them one by one. Okay, so checked exception is the most boring one, but should we start from this or not? Okay, yeah, we can start from this. All right. So if anyone had any doubt till now, no worries, because we are going to cover everything, and then we'll move ahead. All right. So one question should be there in everyone's mind, right? That why the exception, right? What will happen and why will our flow not execute properly, right? So let's take an example, and mm, 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 I will make sure. Okay, okay. Let's try to mimic many. Let's try to mimic exceptions, right? So, which exception should we try to follow first? All right. Okay, this would be the best thing, that we should go for filing, right? Okay. Okay. So let me just create another package. So okay, different exceptions, different exceptions. Cool. So over here, I'm going to create. Okay, I can even just create a single thing. Class. Okay. Instead of class not found, let's start with file not found, or let it would be. It can be IO. Oh, let's take the IO exception. Oh, my bad. There is also no class name. Okay, let me change the name runner. Then later on I will change the name of the class. Is my screen visible?
Yes.
Okay. So what I'm going to do right now is, see over here, why, I mean, the thing is, if I'm writing something, right, like it's line 1, line 2, line 3, right? Okay, that would be an interview question, so I'll cover that in the interview question part. All right. So right now what we are saying, that okay, there will be an error, right? That there will be an abnormal termination, and when the abnormal termination happens, it disturbs the flow of the instructions, right? Cool. Then and then the rest of the code does not get executed. But when we get the try catch, what will happen, why we need to use try catch? Then the thing is, the rest of the code, if for example line 1 to 10, if there is line 1 to 3, right? If exception occurs at line here 2, so it would be int a equals to 10 divided by 0, right? So you will see 1 and 2 line will get executed, right? 1 and 2 get executed, but over here exception arise, right? And line number next code will not get executed, right? Wherever the exception arise, the code written next to it will not get executed, right? And there is an error. But what if I want code to end properly, right? Code ended, and how will I consider my code ended properly if this line gets printed? So I need some alternative. If something goes wrong, then to this thing needs to be printed. If everything goes well, then to this line needs to be printed, right? So the try catch will provide a mechanism for me just to make sure that this line number 13 gets executed. So that thing we'll see. We have already seen now that okay, wherever the exception arise, only before the lines before that will get executed, nothing after it will get executed. So that's what it means, abnormal termination. And an event is thrown, right? An event that occurs during execution of program that disturbs the flow of instructions. So that this is how the flow of instruction get disturbed, right? Because it's meant to execute from 8 to 13, but it get disrupted at line number 10 because only 8 and 9 gets executed, right? So if application contains exception, then the program terminates abnormally, then the rest of the application is not executed, right? What is the rest of the application? This one, right? It's not executed. So this is what these 3 lines needs to say. Now we'll come back over here again. So over here it's mentioned that to overcome the limitation, in order to execute the rest of the application and to get the normal termination of application, we must handle the exceptions, and by these two things we handle, right? And over here it's mentioned that alternative code we are providing, right? Exception handling means just we are providing alternative code to continue when the execution of the remaining code is there, right? So what does it mean by alternative code? Let's, for example, in a race, let's take an example of race only. In a case of race, let's say that there is some fire emergency. Then what we need to do, right? We cannot continue with the race, right? Then in case of this earthquake, this fire emergencies, right, or something else can also happen, some other thing as well. what should be the alternative route? Because we have to stop the race, right? So nobody is going to run while there is a fire or there is a earthquake. So what alternative thing we should follow, right? We should take all the spectators along with the players to a safe area. I mean, where, I mean, and we have to, we have to manage it, right, properly. We have the instruction, we need to have the things in place. And similarly to that thing, like we are trying to have an alternative plans for every possible scenarios. In a case of exception also, we need to plan for all the alternative scenarios that can happen. So, and for that particular thing, this try and catch blocks or the throws blocks help. All right, so now what does it mean by try and catch? Okay, instead of then taking exceptions, let's see try and catch only. So this is not a normal termination, right? Okay, so in basic, let's start with this only. We'll see the different exceptions later on. First learn try and catch. Visible? This is abnormal termination, right? Abnormal termination of the code. Let me change the file name. Abnormal termination, right? That means no exception handling, right? Then normal termination with exception handling. So same code I'm going to copy paste. All right, so if I run this, there will be an error, right? Only line number 1 and 2 will get executed. But the thing is, I don't know in which line execution can happen, right? And it's mentioned that we can handle this by using try catch and throws as well, right? Throws we are going to cover later on. So let's see first try and catch. What does it mean by try and catch? One, we are saying that if something goes wrong, right, then we need to provide the alternative implementation, right? So what happens? Okay, so this is the try catch block example, right? So we have to write any code, right, that we need to perform, that needs to be try. So what does it mean? It means try to execute this code, right? Try to execute this code. All right, try to execute this code. If you are unable to execute this code, then the alternative implementation, what you should do next is inside this, and inside this I am just printing the exception, right? Exception occurred while executing code with error, and I'm just going to get error message. All right, and then end code. So this is the code that I want to execute, but if something goes wrong, this is the code I want to get executed, right? So that means if everything goes well, this code should not get executed, right? I'm audible?
Yeah.
Yeah, Abhishek.
Okay, so let me just remove this line first and then run it. So see, line number 1, 2, 3 and code ended, right? Properly. Okay, let's add gracefully as well. Gracefully, cool. And now let me just add the line, right? Now if I run the code, line number 1 and 2, then exception arise and then code ended gracefully, right? Instead of doing this right now, just we can write the catch block. All right. So the catch block executed, right? I'm audible.
Yes, yeah, good.
So this is the alternative implementation. Catch block will have the alternative implementation every time. If everything goes well, then the catch block will not get executed. But if everything does not goes well, then the catch block will get executed. Cool. I'm audible.
Okay.
Okay. So there can be a different ways, I mean, in which we can write the try catch block, and let's do the try catch block only today. Okay, runtime, compile time. Instead of doing it separately, try catch does not depend. Okay. So let me just write over here try catch new package. Okay, and in the from here different exceptions. Okay, later on I will add different exceptions, and from basic I can take this too. Okay, and the basic can be here as well. Alright, so the basic how termination happens and not happens, it's here. Alright, and now compile time we'll see later on, and now try and catch. Alright, so inside the try catch, so basic we have already seen, right? In try catch, this is the basic, right? How the try and catch happens.
Yes, yes.
Now let's no. Okay, let's add okay, let's add then do let's add one basics, and then let's add one interview. All right, so in the basic again, now we will see a few of the examples that what will happen in which case. Okay, and in try catch, instead of basic here, I can just place these two into this basic. It will work fine. Now this basic I don't require here. Cool. So in try catch, in the basic part we have seen the this exception, right? How it happens. Now the thing is, let's talk about the try catch a little more. So now the thing arises if I'm catching it, right? I'm catching the case, and the example that we have taken of the file execution, right? Is anyone aware of the exception handling before? All right.
No, not much.
No worries. So instead of asking, okay, so see, this entire thing is interview question only. So I will write the thing into an interview question part, but I will not ask the question because it would be the first time for you guys to see these things. So the very first thing is, see over here. Okay, the first thing is, what is exception over here? I'm writing in the catch block. This is a block, right? Try block and the catch block, right? So in the catch block we see, right? Okay, in try block there is nothing, right? There is nothing right now. So I have entire try block with me, and then the catch block, but the catch block has a exception written over here, right? But in the theoretical part we have seen, okay, in the last session we have seen that exception is a parent class of child class of throwable, right? And error is also a child class of throwable, right? Okay, this is visible, right? So throwable is the main object that is taken care by, or that is handled by the JVM. So if we are writing here the exception, can it be replaced by throwable? All right, so now this, okay, wrapper class, wait, okay, yeah, all right. So now the thing is, one interview question is catch with throwable. Cool. Try catch with throwable, PSVM. Cool. So what I'm going to do inside the try, sys out line 1, line 2, all right, and then int a equals to 10 divided by 0, Then line 3, and in the catch block if I'll use throwable, and my bad, and just out catch block with throwable, and then okay, code executed successfully. Cool. If I run this, what will be the output? Will it run? Will there be a compile time error, exception, runtime exception, or if it executes properly, then what will be the total output? See, in last example there was only one change, right? There was an exception here, right? Instead of throwable, right? Am I audible?
Yes, yes.
So if now I execute it, what will be the output? It's the same example as of earlier.
Line 1, line 2.
Okay, then
Um, okay. It will execute line 3 also.
okay, so but it nothing to be printed, right? I'm asking for the output. So
Yeah.
line 10 will give nothing. Okay, you are saying line 3.
Line 3.
Okay, will there be an exception?
For,
Will
for
there?
this code, there will it will print line 1, line 2, and it will go to code like a catch block with throwable.
So line 3 will be printed or not printed?
It will not be printed.
Yes, but this will be skipped, right?
Yes.
That's what's written over here. Okay, if the application contains exception, then the program terminated abnormally. Then the rest of the code of the application is not executed, right? So this is what it means, right? Theoretical means nothing. We have to implement it, right, in our life. So this is where the exception is handled, arise, right? So nothing below it will be executed. But we have the try catch block, right? So the alternative implementation we have provided. If exception arise, then please do something else, right? So what will be the next thing that will be executed?
It will go to catch block with throwable.
Okay, and then this thing, right?
Yes.
So if I'm executing it with the exception, then it will work, right? What if I write with the throwable, right? So this is the only new thing in this question, right? So the
Yes.
thing is, throwable is the parent class of the exception class, right? Exception class. Okay, let me just show it again. Exception is the child class of throwable, right? Is it visible? Everyone
Yes.
attended?
Yes.
Everyone aware of this thing, right? Inheritance.
Yes, sir.
All right. So the thing is, only thing that we need to know to know whether this will work or not. The thing is, catch usually wants throwable object, right? And we can replace the child class object with the parent class object, right? Sorry, reverse. We can replace the parent class object with the child class object, right? In the, and which concept is this? Overriding, right?
Already.
So now the thing is, it usually wants throwable. So throwable will be accepted and the same output will be there. All right. So this will be the output with the throwable. In this example, we have exception over here. Online, you will most of the time you will find exception only, but throwable is also allowed because the cache blocks wants an object of throwable, right? And now when I say the cache block wants an object of throwable, that means there is a, do we know any other child class of throwable? One is exception. Do we know any other class who is the child class of throwable? We have just seen in today's class also error. Error is also a child class of throwable. Alright. So what do you think? If I replace this thing with error, what will happen?
Output will be same.
Okay. The thing is output will not be same. We will come again, but later on. But the thing is, it will be valid, right? It will be valid, right? I need to throw an error for that. Okay. Then when we need to throw an error, okay. Instead of before providing the thing, I need to show you how to throw error and exceptions also. Cool. So now we will be back with, okay, runtimes here, runtime compile time. So let's go with the compile time, different exceptions. Cool. So now I will show how how different exception will arise, right? And errors as well, how to throw exceptions and error. Normally also I can throw, but how I can write the code where the system will throw the exceptions, right? So we will have a runner only, now PSVM. So over here we know that, okay, try block needs to be written, right? Okay, what I'm trying to do, I will try to read data from a file. Okay, I'm audible?
Yeah.
Buffer reader equals to new buffer reader. All right, and the buffer reader, then now we are aware that it's a constructor, right? So we can check over here what it wants, right? It wants a reader object, but what we are going to do, we will give him new file reader object, right? You don't need to rote learn it. It will be, and then there will be a file path, right? I mean, it will be users and something. Okay, let me use instead file path here, and file path I'll take it as string, right? It will be better to manage. Right now I don't have any file path. I will create a file, then I will make sure that I will able to put it here. Now the thing is, what I want is to print the values. Okay, cool. So right now this code is not inside the try catch, right? Okay, so let's not try try catch. Now let's take a string, one string, we can take line, and then while line equals, and then reader, we have reader over here, right? It will read from the file. I will create a file and then give the path of the file as well. Then when the reader dot, I will say the read line, right? So the reader will read line. It will be reading file from the, it will be reading the line from the file, right? And inside the file I need to make sure that this thing is not equals to null. All right. If this thing happens, and then I want to print out the line. Cool. Visible? Is this?
Yeah.
Yes.
But the thing is, over here in this line, where we have this thing inside the compile time exception, right? So that means there will be I will get an exception during the compile time if something is wrong, right? If Java is able to see in the code if something is wrong, right? So if I run it, it will say that unreported exception, right? File not found, right? Where file not found? Why file not found? If you see over here, I am trying to find a file path, right? I'm trying to find a file. So this thing, because this class belongs to Java knows if someone is trying to find a file in a system. If they're unable to find the file, then Java is forcing me to write the alternative implementation when there is no file available. And what's the reason? If they don't provide this thing, if I don't provide alternative implementation, then what will happen? This reader will be null. Okay, this thing will be null, right? Because there will be no file path. So new file object will be null. Then this thing also will be null. Then this thing will also be null. If I try to use the null, then there will be null pointer exception, right? And that null pointer exception will arise here when I handle all null point exception in the buffer reader, in the file reader. Then it will come here, otherwise it will come here only. So that's why the Java knows that, okay, if someone is trying to access a file, then it's obvious there might be a chance that someone deletes the file, or the file path that I'm going to write over here can be different, right? There might be a chance the file is not there, right? Hello, am I audible?
Yeah.
So Java is forcing me to write the alternative code, right? Without writing the alternative code, I cannot execute or compile the code, right? Over here, exception, right? Exception, and sys out file. Okay, let's keep this now. Now the thing is, there will be exception, right? Catch block, we can print catch block. Okay, and then code ended gracefully. All right, so now the thing is, let's create a file, right? We need to create a file. So pwd, let's take, okay, so over here I can create a file. So Adam, and let's say file to be read. Oh shit, .txt, my bad. Okay, I don't need this. File to read .txt. Now this will be better. So file to read .txt and file to read .txt, line 1, line 2, line 3, line 4 and line 5, right? Let me save it. Now this thing is saved. Let me check whether it's saved or not. File to read.txt. I get this thing, cool. All right, now I need the path. So the path will be user in this, the path will be user in this, and then the file name, and the file name is file to read.txt. So file to read.txt, let's try to read the code, run the code. So what's the output? Line number 1 to 5, right? Visible? I'm audible?
Yeah.
So what happened?
Yeah.
What happened? I created a buffer reader, and buffer reader, it's saying that it will keep the data in the buffer. So I have I've created a file reader. I mean, inside the file reader it's creating a file, and file I've given the path. So the file to read.txt, it will read data from there and put the data into the buffer reader, and from the buffer reader I will keep on getting each line, right, one by one, and then until I'm going to do this, until one line becomes null, right, until I don't have any more lines, and I will print all the lines, right? From line 1 to 5 is printed, right? Why 1 to 5? Because here 1 to 5 is written, right? And I can change it as well, right? Let me just add more lines, right? Let me add 6 and 7 as well. Save. If I rerun this code, now line number 6 and 7 is already here, right? Okay, cool, till here. But what if I provide a wrong path? There is no file.txt, right, directly anywhere, right? This is a wrong path, right?
Yeah.
So if I execute this one, now there will be the system will unable to find the file, right? So there will be an exception, right? If I run this code, catch block executed, right? And in the catch block, if exception object, I'll check and message, the exception would be no such file or directory. let me just do one thing, throw e x. Okay. See, now entire thing we get, right? File not found exception is there, right? Visual, file not found. I'm audible?
Yeah.
So the thing is, file not found exception is there, right? And I'm here use exception, right? Exception and file not found exception, right? It's, I mean, we can deduce this much, right? The exception seems to be the parent class of file not found exception, right? Hello, am I audible?
Yeah.
So let's try to see this file not found class, file not found exception, right? Let's go inside it and check whether it's a child class of exception class. But the thing is, over here it's a child class of IOException class, right? Input output exception. But okay, so it seems that it's not a child class of exception class, right? But let's go inside it. There might be ancestor, right? So IOException is the child class of exception, right? So it's the child class of, indirectly it's the child class of exception class, right? I'm audible?
Yes. Yeah.
See, if you are not aware of inheritance, please go through that video. We cannot cover it again. So the thing is, so we know that okay, the parent class is exception, right? So now we have seen the hierarchy that the throwable is the parent class and its child class is exception class, right? And we have also seen throwable also has another child whose name is Array. Okay, just give me 1 second, again. So here we, another thing that we have seen, the child class of exception was error. This is the third time I'm repeating it. We have seen it twice already. And the we have seen the exception throwable class is acceptable over here, exception class is also acceptable over here, and now there is a file not found exception class, right? So if I change file not found exception class over here, will the code work or not work? What do you think?
It should work because it's the parent class.
Because it's a child class, not the parent class.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yes, the answer is correct. Right, it will work. If I run this, it will work. See, I mean, this exception is here because I have written this thing. But now if I run this, there will be no error, right? Catch block will get executed, right? All right, visible? So that means the exception class, the child class of the exception class is also allowed here, right? In the note somewhere down the road, there might be a diagram regarding this. There should be. Okay, cool. This is the diagram, right? There is a throwable class, visible? Throwable class, child classes are error class and exception class. Okay. And the exception class has two classes, runtime exception, and then there are different exceptions. We are working with the IOException, right? IOException child class is file not found exception, visible over here. So that's okay. So there are some background noise. Let me just, okay. Hope it will be quieter now. So okay, cool. So we have seen the throwable is a parent class, and the catch block, usually not even the catch block, even the JVM only understand the throwable, right? If we have the child class, also it will take care of it because it requires throwable object. So throwable object has a two child classes, exception and the error, and it can have multiple other classes. And inside this runtime exception, you can see arithmetic exception we have already seen, array out of bound exception. If you ever code, you might have gone through this exception. Null pointer exception, if I try to work on null, we can see this as well. In IO exceptions, there are multiple exceptions, right? File not found we have already seen, right? Visible? So in the catch block, if throwable is allowed, that means this entire block is allowed, right? Because these are the child classes, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Now let's go back. So we have seen one one compile time exception, right? File not found exception. All right, cool. Let's see some other exceptions also. Now let's see one runtime exception also, right? So same package, or okay, let me just change it to file not found exception runner. And in the runtime exceptions, so I can have a package different and exceptions inside this. Okay, interview, and over here I can add null pointer, right? Null pointer exception. I can try to execute. All right, psvm. See, now it's way too easy. See, null pointer is the most easiest, right? I can take any, right? A equals to null, right? And I can ask a from anywhere, no matter, right? And if I try to do a dot m1, right, then it will give me, if I run it without a try catch block, null pointer exception will be here, right? Null pointer exception, right? So what I need to do is I will just see try and catch, right? Because I do, okay, see, if there is some sysout line 1 and sysout line 2, and then this thing will happen, and then line 3 and 4. So what will be the execution flow right now? 1 and 2 only, right? Line number 1 and 2 only, right? Because over here exception arise, so no other line will get executed, right? So our final round line, the code executed gracefully, will not be printed, right, if I run it again also. So we are in the exception handling, so we will do it in the try and catch, right? And in the catch, now I know I can write exception as well, which will be a parent class of null pointer exception, right? But I can write the null pointer exception as well. Okay, why java.lang is the default package? I should not be forced to use this. Null pointer exception is not a parent class. Okay. Why? Oh, my bad. A runner. I named the class. Okay, cool. Okay, so let's just remove this, right? Okay, and now catch block, right? So if I run this now, line 1 and 2, then the catch block with the message that a is null, and then the code executed gracefully, right? So this is an example of which exception? Hello, I'm audible?
Yeah.
Okay, let me just stop the recording and all right. So now let's see some different example as well. Let's go here. Okay, so arithmetic we have all, okay, okay, arithmetic also, out of bound also, right? 2 also we can write in the this thing, right? Arithmetic exception runner, right? PSVM. So I will just simply see, I'm not going to repeat this again and again, I'm just going to write it now, right? Simply I'm writing it again and again so that you will be able to get that this is how things happen. So 2, now 3, now line number 4. How can I throw arithmetic exceptions? It's simple. Int a equals to, I will divide anything by 0, and if I run this now, what will happen? Only 1 and 2 line will get executed, because at line number 9 the exception will arise. How will you, okay, and then these line will not get executed. You can see over here line 1 and 2, and but we are using that, we are in the exception handling, so we'll use the try catch block. And earlier we were using exception, but arithmetic exception is also a class, so I'm going to use it directly. So I'm going to just print the catch block and the exception, and then the get message of the exception, and eventually what we usually do, code executed gracefully. gracefully, or end it gracefully, whatever you want to run. Then if I run this code again, 1 and 2, line number 1 and 2, and over here line number 10, exception arise, so no other line will get executed later on, and then the catch block, inside the catch block the code will execute, and this is how the code executed gracefully, right? So
Okay.
so last arithmetic exception that we are going to write is, it would be of array index out of bound, array index out of bound. And again, if you haven't worked out of bound, if you haven't worked, it's not like you should know all these things, right? Because when you keep on working in the code, you will, on everyday basis, you will find this kind of errors, right? It's not like I have wrote on this, so it's like if everyday basis. So array index, right? So array index out of bound, right? So we need an array, right? So array equals to new int array. Let's put some value, initialize the value with 0, 1 and 2. So now we know the index, max index should be 2, right? Because in array index start from 2, right? So if I try to access, if my for loop is bad, right, int equals to 0, I less than array dot length and I plus plus, and sys out the ARRI, right? Okay, my bad, triple R, ARRI. So if I run this, then it will execute gracefully 0, 1 and 2. But what if instead of less than I write equal to? So now what will happen? The indexes of the arrays 0, 1 and 2 only, right? This is the index of the array, but it will work till array dot length will give me the 3 value. So there is no value with the index 3, right? Because it ends on the index 2. Array index starts from 0. If no one knows it, I cannot help right now, because this is the data structure array. So there will be an exception right now. If I run it, 1, 2 and 3 will be printed, and when I try to access the 4th element, then there will be no 4th element, and then I'll get array index out of bound. Array index out of bound, right? Index 3 does not exist, right? So what I'm going to do again, so I'm just going to simply, this would be simple for you, Ashok, right, Kishore?
Yeah, Vishal, yeah.
ArithmeticEx sys out. Okay, and catch block and exception dot get message, and then finally code executed successfully. Cool. And now run it again. So now okay, my bad, the exception is array index out of bound, So now run it. Okay. Aha, my bad. Okay, runner, and then this thing, right? Acha, bonds. Cool. Now if I run this, executed 0, 1 and 2, then the catch block, right, with the error index 3 out of 3, then code executed successfully. Visible?
Yeah.
Alright, so let me see. So we have covered 3 illegal argument. I mean, there are many more, right? There can be hundreds, more than hundreds. Child classes are there of exceptions. So now what we are going to do, file not found we have already seen. So we can go with the errors now, right? Let's go with the error, and okay, there is one more, right? So okay, so let's see. Okay, so here in runtime I need to add a package model, and in the model I will write a class A, or a class to be deleted, right? And ps, okay, not psvm. Okay, just simply let's add a method, public void m1. Alright, what we usually do in the m1 method, we just print the class name and hyphen the m1 method, right? Alright, so now if I create an object of class to be deleted, class to be deleted equals to new class to be deleted, and okay, my bad, and class to be deleted dot m1, and if I try to run this code, then m1 will be printed, right? Visible, right? But what if, okay, what if I just simply, okay, but if I run again, it will be compiled. Okay, let me check. Yes, it will be compiled. All right, how can I make sure that it's not compiled? Okay, I need to run. Okay, cool, no worries. I can just simply go here. Okay, terminal. Ls. Okay, there will be an issue of permissions. Let's try regardless. So this is the class, right? So the Java C error package this does not exist. Okay, yes, for this it won't exist. So class not found if I just put it in here only. All right, now I have to try again. Cannot find symbol. Class to be deleted. Okay, why? Class to be deleted now in the different exceptions. It should have worked properly. Class to be deleted and class def not found. Okay, and if I open it in, okay, why class to be deleted, line number 7, it cannot find symbol, but it don't make sense. Now they both are in the same package. Okay, Java C. Okay, my bad. Java C, class to be deleted. All right. Okay, now Java C and class. Okay, def not found. Why class not to be deleted? Why? Okay, let me just ls minus ltr. Dot class file is here. Class to be deleted. Okay, Java C class def not found. Okay, let me just add ls minus ltr chmod 777 and class to be deleted. All right, let me check it again. Now class what happened with the dot class file? It's here. Let me just refresh it. Okay, why with this, why it's not acceptable? Chmod 777 class to be deleted Java ls, so ls minus ltr, its permission, read write, every permission is there, and let me just put it here as well. chmod -7. Okay, again. Now Java C and class. Okay, see, the thing is if I try to write it here, it will give me an exception all the time. I have to check the permissions in this package. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to make a package here and class def not found example, and I'm going inside class def not found example, and over here I will write two files, open and a.java and inside this okay vi, it's better to open with the atom. So over here public class A, and I'm going to use public static void main and system.out.println. Over here I can type hello by a.class, and I will just simply save it. And now Java C a.java and Java A main class not found in A main method public static. Okay, my bad. Public string args. Okay, my bad. Again compile A, again run A. Okay, I haven't add save. Again compile, again run. Now hello by class A, right? Let me create another class B as well over here, and I'll do atom b.java, and over here public class B and just write one more method, public void m1, and inside this system.out.println and bm1 method. Alright, let's save it. Now I need to compile A again. Now if I run the code, okay, let me check. See, right now there is no B. Okay, Java C b.java. Alright, now if I run Java A, hello by class A. Okay, I haven't used B. Okay, my bad. B equals to new B and then b.m1. Good. Now I will do Java C a.java again. I'm hoping you are aware of, right, what I'm doing. Java C means Java compile, Java A means run in the class A. So Java A. Alright, okay, I guess I haven't saved it. So Java C a.java. Now Java A, why it's not okay, my bad. In the B class I've written this, my bad. I need to paste this in A class. Save again Java C. Now if I run the code, okay, exception. Why bb equals to b.m1? Let's check the B class. Why infinite? Okay, this does not make sense. b.m1, why it's called infinite times. Java A, add line number 8, but which okay, line number 8, b.m1 line number 8. Okay, my bad. I haven't updated the Java. Okay, my bad. I have to compile B class again. Okay, Java c b.java. Now it will work fine, right? b-m1. Anyone having any doubts till now what we have done? Hello.
No.
Yeah.
So we have just created two classes outside in our package because there was some issue with the accessing of the classes. So we have created in another folder in which we have created two classes, A and B. And in A classes I'm using B class, and the B class I'm calling a method M1 of the B class, right? We usually do it on everyday basis, right? But the thing is, we have A dot class, B dot class, right? So if I remove the B dot class from here, see over here you see the B dot class, right? I'm going to remove it. Okay, so now if we are going to see, there are only three classes, right? So the Java works with the dot class file, right? Bytecodes. So now if I try to run A, which needs B dot class, so B dot class will not be visible to A, right? Oh, my bad, space required. So what's the error now? Class def not found, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why I'm getting this error? The reason?
Because the class does not exist.
Class exists, its dot class file does not exist.
Uh-huh.
Okay, dot Java file exists, but dot class file does not exist. So in this example, in our example, let me just delete this thing here from here. Class to be deleted. Let's just copy paste it into the model. Okay, let's keep it here as well. And when I am running this class not found runner, then it's printing one, right? So let me just put it in the model again and then try to run the class not found exception again, right? So it's M1, right? So let's go inside the dot class file of this. There might be a chance if I have the privilege to run it from here, and then okay, modifier, where is the package? Exception handling, runtime, and arithmetic. Okay, I want to be here. Okay, let's see if it's allow me to run this class def not found class. Okay. Could not find a load. Okay, let me it left me no option other than using it. Could not find. How could you not find? It's here. I have to check why this is happening with this thing, but it's simple. I mean, it's same thing I'm going to do over here. If I delete this class, if I delete the model class, right, this class file, if I dot class file, if I delete it, try to run the class def not found class, then there will be a class def not found exception, right? This is a part of runtime exception. Cool. Anyone any doubts till now?
No option.
Okay, let's just check. Okay, 8:25. All right. We'll just wrap it in 5 minutes. Okay, let's check some errors, right? And then we will wrap the session. Okay. Okay, then we have seen the okay, errors we haven't. Okay, not even the package. Okay, cool, no worries. So first we will write some error, and in error, okay, different type of error. Okay, my bad, it needs to be a package, and then error will have into equations. Okay, so different type of error, right? First let's see, we have already seen. Okay, so see, one error we have already seen in the methods. See, okay, cool. Let me write it down, right? And then you will remember. I will write it just runner over here, right? Later on I will change the name. PSVM, right? Then I will write in the method public static void m1, and I'm going to call m1. Have we done this before? What will happen now? If I run this, what will happen? I will be calling m1 infinite times, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And a method is created for a stack is created for each method, right? So eventually my heap is going to run out and I will get an error. See, over here you can see exception handling. Okay, wait. Let me just go up. Try to find this thing. Java.lang stack overflow error. See, it's error here, right? It's not exception. It says that it's error, right? And if it's saying that it's error, then it should be error child class, right? And it is virtual machine error, right? Error, virtual machine error, and okay, then its child classes is not visible in the package. Cool, no worries. Alright, so virtual machine error child classes is stack overflow error, right? That we are getting over here. So we have already seen it. So this name is stack overflow error, right? So this is a hardware problem, right? I mean, this is the coding problem as well, but this is not like I created this code intentionally, right? But there might be a chance in the normal case as well. There could be a chance that normal users are coming, right? And our server has taken a lot of requests from the users. And now there are multiple methods that has been created. And now there is no stack left, right? Then also this exception will occur, right? In a normal case as well, this is intentional that we have created. Stack, okay, my bad. I need to change the name. Okay. Error runner. All right. So the next thing would be, see, this is based on hardware, right? Because we had no more RAM left, right, to utilize. So there can be another thing as well, right? We can do. Okay, see, now if I want to make sure that I exhaust all the heap, right? How can I do it? See, all of you are aware of this thing. How can you do it? You all know, right? It's just you need to run your brain. Oh, my bad. Just need to change the name to runner as well, right? Cool. I need to make sure that no memory is left from my RAM. How can I do it? I'm not going to do anything extraordinary. Even you are aware of this thing from your first day of college. I mean, when you started learning any one language and you know about the memory and all those stuffs. See, it's a one-liner. I'm just going to give 10 to 15 second max, right? Then I'm going to answer it. And then you all will think, oh shit, it's so much basic. I want to consume all my heap. See, that's why basics are important. I'm saying again, I want to consume all my heap so that no memory is left on my heap. This is also no memory left on the heap, right? But the memory name is stack for the method. That's why stack overflow error. Cool. No one wants to answer? How can I consume all my memory in the heap?
While some true, create a new object like that.
Okay, it's going to take a lot of time. Right, but nice attempt, right? The basic thing, array, my friend, array, integer, array equals to new integer, right? Let's take 100. Okay, and then try to, okay, code executed successfully, right? If I run this, it will execute successfully, right? Now, cause int take 400 bytes, right? 4 bytes, my bad, and the total will be 400, right? If I increase the number of zeros, then if I run it, it's still able to provide me the data, right? If I increase more zeros, now what will happen? Out of memory error, right? Heap space is gone. okay, and it's a part of error, out of memory error. It's a part of error. Same thing, virtual machine error. The thing that we have seen earlier is stack overflow out of memory. It's also a virtual machine error, right? And eventually it's the error. Cool, visible? That's why I mentioned heap space. I want to consume. We can do it this way also. But the thing is, the thing you mentioned, Kishore, that you can create a heap, right? I mean, object, you will create a new object multiple times, right? So the thing that you are trying to do will be like this, right? While true, you are going to create object, right? A equals to new a, right? This thing you wanted to do, right?
Yeah.
But what you are doing, you are assigning this variable to an object again, right? So as soon as you again move this thing, right? If right now you are creating an object in the heap, this variable is pointing to that heap, right? In the next loop, this the object you have created earlier, no one is pointing to that object, right? Because you have pointed this variable here.
Yeah, GC may collect it, yeah.
Yes. So there might be a chance it's going to take a lot of time, right?
Okay.
It is possible to create like this as well. But over here, see, over here, if I run this, it will definitely in O1 time complexity it will provide, right? Because it won't be able to, new keyword won't be able to provide this much data, right? But if I just comment out this thing, and if I run over here, now if I do this, okay, unreachable statement, so we can remove it. See, it's just going on, right? Visible?
Yeah.
It just keep on going on. I don't know if my garbage collector is better than for the infinite time, I will never be able to get this thing. See, right? It's still nothing, right? See, the new versions of Java has a very good garbage collections or memory management. That's why just moving simply from version 8 to 11 provides you 50% faster code executions. Just moving from 8 to 11. 11 used to be the paid version, and most people moved from 8 to 11 just for this thing. Now the 17 is free, right? So this garbage collection, all these things is very much optimized. So the thing is, if you try to give that answer, you won't be able to show it, right? See, when I appear for the interview and interviewer asks some questions, right, I will be able to write these codes again and again, right? If you try that thing, it's going to take a lot of time. This thing, if you write, it will be the O1 operation, right? You will run it and nothing, nada, right? And also, if you have completed the array, so data structure should be in your mind, right? Okay, I should use this thing, right? All right, no worries. So now today, let's end the session. We have seen multiple errors. Let me stop the recording.